The question for the day is, can you get flood insurance? The answer is yes for 99% of you. Hi, it's Robert, the flood nerd. I help people get great coverage at a better price. The government option won't allow us to get flood coverage on a property that is in a Cobra flood zone. There are a few private flood options that do allow coverage within a Cobra flood zone, but they tend to be really expensive. Cobra stands for Coastal Barrier Resource Flood Zones. The government was hoping that they could deter construction within these areas. However, there are many properties within these flood zones. If your structure is within the X, B, or C flood zone, these are flood zones where your lender is less likely to require flood insurance. These flood zones are considered low risk by our federal government. However, you should know that 20% of all claims come from these low risk flood zones. Also, something that we should consider is that these are hand-drawn maps by humans, and Mother Nature really doesn't care where our boundaries are. Some of you won't be able to get flood coverage through the NFIP or the government option because you are in a community that is not participating within the program. The good news is that the private market sees it quite differently, and they are using much more advanced technology to decipher what your flood premium should be. Those of you that have structures that are within a high-risk flood zone, usually identified with an A, AE, V, or VE, will hear from your lender that you're required to buy flood insurance. Those of you within the V or VE flood zone, the V stands for velocity, and that is the government's definition of the wave action as it hits the building. And a very few of you may be in a D flood zone. The D usually is an area that has had some kind of like fire or major change to the topography that will cause the property and the area to be more prone to flooding. As a flood nerd, we recommend that you get flood insurance, regardless of the flood zone that you're in. This is the best way to protect your financial future.